Hello there. First of all, check if this is working. First of all, it does. Second of all, welcome to the archive. Clear my desk of techno stuff, potentiometers and whatnot. And let's get to it. So, actually, can I'm gonna blank the screen because I don't know what it will show up. But if I jump and move account and then go to the actual channel, there we go. There. So, I made a machine cutter before, a long time ago, which uploaded to the channel we're on now. And that worked for about 7 videos until I just realized it didn't do it properly. The audio kept falling out of sync, and it was just a mess. And that was because of MoviePie back in the day. They still haven't fixed that issue, but you can work around it. And also, it took me a few years to figure out, but apparently the audio desyncing issue is because of 2 short clips. Even though MoviePie is frame-based, it just skips clips that are too short. And just says, nah, for the video, but it keeps the audio. Therefore the desync. Like, it's been there for several years. Either way, you can work around that by making sure your clips are at least 1 second in length or something like that. But even that doesn't really seem to work sometimes, and making sure that it is exactly 1 second in length, it doesn't seem to work either. Let's see, I don't know what it's... Ooh. I just realized it will probably... Okay, yeah, this is safe, but I need to change a few things. I need to find a few print statements, because this script prints out its configuration at some places, and I don't want it to leak my keys and stuff like that, so there. Yeah, let's not print that, and that was needed for the bugging, but not anymore. There we go. So, and I'm running it in PyPy3 because why not? From file, and oh yeah, that's another thing I want to add. Before I do anything, I want to add a new argument. So that I can be in dev mode. and not actually hit any of of YouTube servers and do everything locally. That would be really nice. Because then I don't use up my quota, which is kind of precious. What should I call it? Just dev. Now dev implies FF, so I might as well put that in there. And I'll do a check for that there. Like if args. There's probably better ways to do this, but I'm not gonna go and look up a bunch of documentations just to make my code ultra clean. Like, look at this. Look at this. Does this look clean? Do you think this is an actual representable thing? It's not. It's a prototype. And therefore I shall continue to code it as is a prototype, i.e. get it working and optimize where you need to, not where you... optimize where you have to and need to, but not everywhere, because it's not worth it. It's a prototype. So if args.dev, we want to set args.ff to true. That's a simple implies. So that will bring it in here. It will read the videos from file, and then it will jump in here. And because it's FF, it will return out. Do process will also get the args and do a bunch of shit, because it's the common thing that it does in all modes. It's not representative. I'll say that much. This is a prototype, if anything. It's just been added and added and added to. I think that's the largest if block I have here. Like, I consider this very bad. And this is the largest if statement I have. Granted, it's like, what is that? One screen of one screen of 7.5, so 1/8 of the file. Still not as bad as the Y. But yes. If true. Why do I still have that? I should probably remove that. What does that even do? That generates the timestamps. Okay, so I mean, yeah, it's actually if I change that, it will just try and upload and nothing else. And I don't want it to upload unless it has processed. Actually, I'll keep that in there because I put it in there for a reason. Probably some edge case where it managed to make the video but not upload it, and I just added that in to make it just skip everything and just upload it. And then I killed it and put it back to true. But yes, I want to add a mode so that that doesn't touch YouTube servers at all. Well, in terms of quota. Which means it will enter due process. And it will use conventional crawling techniques to download the video, which doesn't hit quota, so that can still be there. I do want to change my timestamp generation though, because I do kind of want to keep the file that it generates for inspection. So if args.dev, or actually if not dev, we will remove the file. If it's dev, we will keep it by not removing it. I think that's configured as, yeah, -y, which will overwrite without question. And then I want it so that it doesn't hit the upload, which should be right about here, yes. If args.dev, or actually again, not dev, wait, I reattributed, no, I just set a bunch of stuff in args because that's needed for authentication. Yeah, it's a bit weird. It's easier to just define my little config for the video here, and then merge in the custom OAuth 2 client arg parser, because apparently that's a thing. And speaking of, we can probably invoke it by running help. Pi, please load. Well, I have to reset my API key now. Good riddance on me. I specifically put that in the freaking file so it wouldn't do that, and it still did that. Oh my god, Python. Oh, that's painful. So, Cloud Console, yes. Holy fucking shit. Welcome to Michael's lab. Not only shall we leak our own key unintentionally by intentionally trying to hide it away in a separate file. Yes. Jesus. Crikey. Crikey! Switch. a, how do I credentials? Yes. Can I revoke this key? Is it the same key even? AIZA. Yeah, there's no point in hiding it, you've already seen it. AIZA, yes, that's the one. UKIT delete. Because Google, I have to type in delete, because legal reasons, I guess. Anyway, create credentials, API key, creating API key. Thank you. Copy key, close. And close that entire page. And go in here and paste it in and close the file and never open it again. Can't I technically just put a bunch of semicolons before to have the same effect as the tabs I did before? I will test this off camera because frankly I don't want this to happen again. Oh, and it did it again. Oh, invalid syntax. But hey, semicolons are line determinators too. Or are they? Wait, what? Okay, I have it. I'll just do a non-stream with colons. That should work. Yes. So, welcome back. As we were saying, the special arg parser contains its own authentication stuff, so you can switch out to where you are authenticating. It's weird. You can also choose a different, basically a different server to authenticate to. I don't know why you would do that. But yeah, the OAuth 2 client is kind of weird. It saves these files, but it actually saves the keys and stuff in, so I can't click around too much because then I must delete them and de-authenticate them, and just like I had to remove my API key and make a new one, which is in there. But yes, did I make it not hit YouTube upload? Yes, I did. I did make it keep the file, I believe. Yes. So, the entire point of this video is because the libraries I'm using are... I'm just gonna shake my head. Because here is what it spits out. Oh, it actually started working. Ow. Yes. Your title, we're supposed to design a new tense unit. Why? I want to make one with the H-bridge driver in it. At a first look it looks fine. However, a glitch has already happened, and you will start to notice it more and more and more and more. That is, the end of sentences are cut off. And that is because the way PyDub detects silence. So this is a bit of a weird setup. My phone, as always. We'll see how this goes. So we'll be using breadboard for this project. Because I think we'll be needing a bit of... We will only have... It's quite annoying. And that's because down to the way PyDub detects silence, as I said. Now I copied PyDub over here and I've messed with it quite a lot. There's a lot of things wrong with PyDub. It chunks way too much memory. It's way too inefficient. It's way too... It's just way too much. It's trying to do everything at once, and therefore it's not really good at anything. Which is not what I really require in this situation. Which probably isn't PyDub's fault, to be honest. However, I will draw your attention to this comment right here. And then, meanwhile, I will go back and I will do this. I will open that comment again. And I will enter audio segment here. Nothing that is used here. And yes, that's how much we need to see along with this. If you look at that, and you then inspect the code for spawning an audio segment, you will quickly realize, or for slicing an audio segment, I should say, which one is the slice? I kind of forgot. I swear I had this before. Python magic function slice array. It's the index magic function. So let's check the index. It's not defined. Why? Why? Is it PyAudio? I swear I figured this out before, and the gist of it is that the comment says check successive 1 seconds by default chunk of sound of silence, which is implied to be seek step. If you check seek step, it's 1. So 1 is 1 second. However, when you slice an audio segment, you're slicing based on milliseconds. I think. It might be wrong since I can't find what I found before. And it might be what I found before was entirely wrong. Is it a property? What? Like inadvertently get sample slice is probably called when you're getting a slice. But it's not being used. Effects. RMS at. Hmm. Hmm. Is the audio segment a derived class? It's an object. Eh? So there is a length property, and it returns the length in milliseconds. Oh, maybe it was based on the length. I determined that seek step was is in milliseconds. So so we get the sequence length. This variable here is the sequence length in milliseconds. And if we take that sequence length minus min silence length, which is 1000 by default, so 1000 milliseconds, so 1 second. Maybe that's what the comment implies. But it says successive, which means they are after each other, which isn't overlapping, which is what this is, which maybe this is entirely a grammatical misunderstanding. Either way, this shows why comments are shit. Let your code speak for itself. And if your code can't speak to itself, write better code that can speak to itself. For itself. Jesus. Anyway, that means last slice start is based in milliseconds, which means the range here is from 0 to the maximum milliseconds plus 1, and it's gonna step by 1 millisecond by default, which is that step there. Which I guess is to try a chunk at every seek step, or chunk, or every chunk for a seek step. What? Either way, this doesn't make much sense. and it gives me a kind of bad feeling. And the other thing is that it's inaccurate. I haven't found the index function of audio segment, but since it's inevitably used here without, like, the slice starts, which is defined from here. So all of this is in milliseconds, which means the segmentation and slicing is based in milliseconds. And when you're dealing with audio and milliseconds, you're inadvertently going to have half a sample or a third of a sample, which means you're inaccurate. Which means that even if you had a phase correct wave at 1 millisecond, it will still jitter back and forth in that check room. It's not a big deal for what I want to do, and it's not a big deal for checking RMS unless you're using really, really small windows. But yeah, accuracy suffers. And Jesus, my eye is twitching. Accuracy suffers, and speed suffers as well, just because of the way the audio segment is set up. There's, I mean, just it's a lot. Most of this I don't need, but all of this needs to be parsed and compiled into bytecode. And it's a convoluted pathway to get like the load from file and all those. It's convoluted. I don't like it, and that's why I'm planning to transition away from it entirely now, because I've already begun to do so, and that's what this output is. But I'm still using the RMS measuring right here to check if it should be applied or not. And at this point I'm like, that doesn't work, because the way it's set up, it's checking for a minimum silence duration that is about 2 seconds. And because this 2-second window is sliding over your audio, and speech is usually pretty sharp in its transitions on and off, which means that once you, like, if you have a bunch of speech and then it stops speaking, if you have your window and slide that over there, you're gonna have a lot of speaking, and then it's gonna be gradually toning off, and then it's gonna get to a cutoff. Even though you have speech left, it's cutting before the speech has actually ended, because it's an average RMS instead of the peak. So hey, audio segment, get wrecked. And we will replace that with a statistical one-liner variable instead, which will hopefully be a bit faster as well. What we want to do, actually, wait, do we have NumPy loaded? Actually, we don't need NumPy, we have PyPy. With PyPy, everything is fast. Don't quote me on that. It's probably wrong in multiple reasons. Either way, this code here and up is replacement for PyDub's way of loading for loading and converting files, and most of that from here and down to here, except that, is standard PyDub code. So what I did is that I went into Silence, and I basically took this, cut off, and this, cut off most of the unused code and comments and pasted it in here, modified it, and converted the top of it so it doesn't eat all your 16 gigs of RAM trying to load a 4-hour audio file. Part of me is like, how even? Because let's do some calculation here. If you're smart, you're gonna be storing that audio as a raw block of data. I don't know if you can even do that in Python. There might be padding for every item in an array in Python, but here's the thing, we have strings, and that's all I say about that. But let's assume we have 4 hours of video that we want the audio of. Let's convert that to seconds. That's 14,400 seconds of audio data. Now PyDub is going to call FFmpeg, and it's gonna have it's gonna call it depending on how you do it. You can either do it with temporary files or in memory. Let's assume we do it with temporary files, so it's easy on the calculations, because we don't want any extraneous memory to be used up by buffers, because we're doing it in memory. We don't want that. So we're gonna do it on disk. But after it's done on disk, the converted audio, which is now raw PCM data, will now be loaded into memory. So we had our 14,400 seconds. We times that by 8, because that's... No, we should not do that. Let's divide by 8 so we get that out. But so we want to figure out how many bytes this uses, and then convert it to gigabytes. So we have 14,400 seconds, we multiply that by 2, and then by 44,100, which gives us 1,270,080,000 bytes. To convert that to kilobytes, we divide by 1024. To convert that to megabyte, we divide by the same again. Kilobyte, megabyte. To convert to gigabytes, we divide by 1024 again. It's over a gigabyte. However, PyDub somehow expands that out to over 10. Maybe that's Python, maybe that's PyDub and its internal buffering. I don't know. But trying to do it all in memory and loading it all into memory at once is a futile effort if you're dealing with large files. Which is why I rewrote it to do it as it reads the file and just dump what it doesn't need. So we set up our FFmpeg to do some conversion, and we run the conversion, which gives us a file called conv.raw, which contains signed 8-bit signed 8-bit audio data at 11 kilohertz. And this is important, but we'll come to that later. With this file, we will we set up some other stuff. We get the length of the file from the operating system because it's been keeping track for us. So we just asked the operating system, hey, how big is this file in bytes? And it will tell us, oh, it's that many bytes. And then we know, okay, it's that many bytes But since it's 8 bits per sample, it's 1 byte per sample. Therefore, we can infer the size is the amount of samples we have in the file. Pretty clever. And we can essentially copy in. That allows us to basically copy in this lower section here, which relies on knowing the length of the file, of the data, I guess. And that also allows us to set up a range, which actually we don't really need this range, but I just kind of shuck this in here, trying to work with the old code. But instead of reading the entire file into memory as a PyDub object and then slicing that ever so often, I instead just read it raw. First I fill up the buffer so that it has almost enough data for one range for the full 2 seconds. But since the way it's set up, I have to do the read before I do the check, so I have to remove the step count from the amount I read. So we move, yeah. And we also fill up, actually we do fill up the buffer, but it's offset, because we need to do the shift before we, whatever, I can't explain it. My head is not working. But yes, then well, the code that was here would create an audio slice from that buffer, which is a rolling buffer essentially. It's we have our buffer, and to the buffer we add our step that we're stepping each time, and from the back of the buffer we remove step amount each time. So we're adding step, removing step, and we're adding step, removing step, adding step, removing step. So we're kind of galloping along, and we're doing the read at a specific time, so it looks like the chunk is equidistant apart, but just moving along the rail or audio. And then it would create a audio slice from that and do the RMS value. And if it's below the silence threshold, it would add it. However, that doesn't work, since that's average RMS. We want the peak RMS, which is gonna change our silence threshold here. It's gonna move up about probably 20 or 10, I mean 10 decibels. Peak and average, it's very hard to say. They aren't really related at all. It really depends on the type of audio you have. But I will test it. I will see if it works better than what I had, and if it does, I will change this to version 3. Boop. There you go. Where was I? Yes, here. So we want to create a variable which has either the maximum or minimum, probably the maximum. Yes, the maximum. So we say mx equals the max of the buffer. And we probably want to map that buffer to be integers, because it's currently a string, or no, it's a byte array even. So we want to push in lambda and just do our ordinary of it. That will be 0 to 255, which means we're gonna have to remove either 128 or 127. So it's negative 127 because it can reach 128 positive. So that should be 0, and then we do an absolute on that. And that will be put through our max. And it will choose the maximum of that. And hell, let's just print them. Print max. And for the fun of it, let's exit there. Or should we? I'll just do that, and we'll do the entire process, except uploading, of course. So --deb implies from file. Yes. Oh yeah, it's gonna get a new video. Because it did actually upload that other one, this one, that we gave it. Or that we looked at before. It's actually up on the channel. Yes, there it is. Oh, it actually started working. 995 cuts, most of them useless. Too many cuts to even fit in the description. Jesus. So this is gonna take 5 minutes, apparently. Bleh. Oh yeah. Sublime Text goes a little haywire from all the file events. I really hope it doesn't print out the config again, because then I need to renew all the keys, and that would not be fun. The joys of programming. Waiting. Contemplating. Having your internet die on you. God damn it, why did you stop? Okay. Oof. Boring. Boring. Bum 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 bum. Have we already been at this for 53 minutes? Oh my god. We haven't even done anything. It will generate the timestamps now. Oh yeah, I should download the audio first. I forgot. Also, this will... yes, this will die. This will be like, yeah, no. This will absolutely not run. This will be like, yeah, audio slice doesn't exist. That's all it's gonna say. However, we will let it download. Damn singing. Nice pattern. It's like moving. This will take 8 minutes. Excuse me. Oh boy. Should I go BRB? Wow. I may go BRB. 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 Let's make this a very nice font. Very big font. Can I... Yes, courier new. Yes. eh. Eh. Don't really like... Ooh, tiny. Very tiny. Can't even see it. Oh, impact. Let's do impact. Wow. Now that's meme potential. Let's do underline. No, actually that's horrible. Ooh. Runic. Oh. Hey. Oh. Didn't change. Oh well. Let's sure. Calibri. I swear the time setting this up is okay, it's only been 765 3 minutes. It's oh crap. Yes, I will be BRB because yes. Hola, I am back. And this is not done. However, when it's done, it will be easier. Let's check the stream. See how that is working out. Let's check the... Maybe I should probably look myself up before I do that. Stream. 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 Look myself up. You. Blah blah. You. Blah blah. Okay. I have no idea what that was about, but this thing is done soon. Just gonna merge them together into one file. It's raining. That will mess with the autocutter later. Maybe. Perhaps. Yes, generate timestamps needs the the args. So we'll pass those along. We'll do from dev, and it will detect that the video is already there. And because it's on camera, it won't do that. Oh, it will, it will. And now it enters the do process, and in do process, it enters get timestamps, and in timestamps, it spits off this FFmpeg thing, which will convert it to a video at 11 kilohertz, not 11,025, because that's the kind of fraction that gets you half a sample per X amount of milliseconds in the end. And yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter what internal frame rate you use, but as long as it's some multiple of the like relational, so that it doesn't turns out to be half a sample or thirds of sample or 25th or fifths or whatever fractional sampling. As long as you do that or keep that in mind when when setting your internal frame rate, it should be all fine. How long was this? It was 2 hours 32 minutes, and we have converted roughly 42 minutes so far. Now I could add skipconv as well, which I'll do. And that will be skipconversion. And that implies dev. If skipcon, we set dev. And then because dev got set, we also set ff. That's nice. So next time we run this, we can run it with skipconv, either with or without dev, and it will just work on the files it already have, which will be this file. Now, because I'm converting it to 8 bits per sample, instead of a 4-hour video being that many bytes, it will be, wait, let's go even further back. What was it? Yeah, 14,400 seconds is 4 hours. It would be, it's 1 byte, so times 1 times, wait, what? Clear. 14400. So it's times 1 times 11 kilohertz, which is that many bytes, which is that many kilobytes, which is that many megabytes. It's just a lot less. I'm not saying this is what PyDub should do. PyDub is an all-round thing that it can do it can do most things, although being a bit of a memory hog, maybe slow at times. It is a Swiss knife, and it's quite capable. In essence, it's what Python should be. It's batteries included, because Python itself isn't that very fast, so it doesn't matter that much if it isn't fast. So, in reality, it is me. I'm the problem here, not PyDub. I'm asking PyDub things that was never supposed to be asked of it. So, yeah. Is audio still working? Beep beep. I assume the noise implies that there is a noise floor, and there would only be a noise floor if there was a microphone input, so yes, it's working. I assume. Is this done yet? Yeah, it crashed. the ord expected a string of length 1, but it got an int. Apparently a single byte is an int in Python 3? That's weird. I guess you learn something new every day, don't you? Where is... Where is that? Where did I put that? So that just means x negative 127, an absolute of that. Huh. And we should probably fix this to be just mx. Is there a float to db? Okay. I think this will work. What did I name that other? We'll say noconv. Cannot import name float to db because it doesn't exist, I assume. Which is pymod utils. Pymod utils. What do we have? It's called ratio to db. Like that's what I mean with this PyDub. It's just, it's not consistent at all. And maybe that's just me, and maybe that's just me asking too much of something that was never supposed to do this. But oh yeah, maybe I should change that. And maybe I should actually implement it instead of just define it. So noconv, and let's actually make it use noconv. If not args dot, there you go, run, it will notice that it has it, and it will try and delete something that doesn't even exist, because I forgot to remove that. Oops. 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 That's a whole lot of zeros, I'll tell you that much. Oh, there was a bunch of stuff. So it's checking every 330 something bytes, which is it should be 50 milliseconds at 11 kilohertz. And notice how that is a round ratio and not there's not any extraneous decimals after that point. So let's not print it, instead let it actually do it, I guess, and see what it spits out. I changed the peak to be, or I changed the rate to the threshold, the sinus threshold to be negative 26 decibel. So yeah, there you go, now it's generating timestamps, and it found one timestamp. Oof. And that's the end timestamp as well. That's the invalid one at the end that's always there. I don't know why that one's there. I think that's just because of the code down here that I haven't actually touched yet. Or it might be this. It's something of this, and it's not my code. I can tell you that much. Maybe I don't need this at all. Actually, I kind of flubbed up because it's already multiplied by 128 up there, so I don't need to divide down here. But that means I should, yeah, that shouldn't be there at all, because this is already the ratio, because the decibel is made from the original. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Let's have it generate the timestamps, which will be reasonable quick. Nothing detected. Bruh, okay. It added it to the done videos, I assume. Now I need to clean up this folder. Oh, and it removed the what? Why did it remove the... What the... Let's fix that done videos file because it's now tainted. It was VA, right? VA3, VA3Y, VA3Y, yes. Remove that, leave a new line. It's gonna download the video now again. Yeah, because it removed it. Why did it remove it? It's something that's done inside due process, right? It might start hailing. Oh. Ah. Ah. That's why it nuked it. So it will nuke it again now, is what you're saying. That's hail. If you can hear it. I don't know if you can. It's gonna be here for 5 minutes and then another 8 or 10 minutes downloading the audio because the audio is for some reason the most limited thing in bandwidth. But hem. Do I stop the stream and split it into 2 videos? Or do I just mute and let the auto cutter eventually cut it properly when it gets here? Which will be many days. I mean, now it doesn't matter. As it's set up right now, the auto cutter can support probably 12-hour videos if I wanted to. Because now it actually doesn't load everything into memory at once, which is a stupid tactic overall when you're working with audio or video. And even MoviePy realizes that. But not PyDub because it's trying to do everything at once, and maybe that's not such a bad thing to jab at it. But maybe it could have been a bit more modular, or have different modes in how it does things, or I don't know. Improvements can be made, but it's worth the time, kinda. It's not that it's not worth saving. It's PyDub is a good library, but if you're gonna, there's just so many like small things that so many people would like to have. Like you'd like it to stream the segments from disks instead of loading it on into memory at once. And sure, you can set that up, and I'm pretty sure someone has as a fork a while ago. And but it's too much work to do it by yourself, which I guess is why those forks are there. But truth be told, I don't really look into forks because forks are forks. But when you think about it, everything is a fork. So maybe I'm just a bit hypocritical. And that's how you waste 4 minutes of time. Well, 3 minutes. Wow. We've done nothing. We've done absolutely nothing. And we're 1.5 hours into this. That's pretty. That's some content density right there. Just looking at this bar here, I think peak would be better because if imagine this and that you can and that the highest value from like 2 seconds ago sticks here and it follows. So it would go like, if I'm talking, it would be like up here, it would stick for 2 seconds and jump down a little bit, and then even as I went quiet, it would still be up here because it's because the silence is because you're measuring from the middle ish. Maybe that's another thing I should implement so it doesn't just look forward but backwards as well. Maybe 10% backward or something like that. Although that's kind of already implemented with the easing. So, because I have easing on both the in and out, there's a ease of 0.3 seconds in and out of every detection. And if that isn't enough, it gets expanded to 1 second, just to make MoviePy happy and not skip clips. That it sometimes does for some reason. But oh hey, look, it's at the audio now. If I cancel it now, will it download the MP4 again? How does the... Huh. if I aborted it now and made it go back in, it might just think that's the actual file it's supposed to have, even though it doesn't contain audio yet. I need to check that. I need to check that. So, delete those. Let's see if it thinks that's the file it's supposed to be converting. And we should have fixed our OS remove stuff, so that will not be an issue now. Let's see what it does. Smart there, Dash. Or download, I guess. It realized it has already been downloaded, and it's just gonna go for the audio. Okay, so that's a non-issue. Good to know. But yeah, let's let this do and operate, and regardless if it's win or fail, I will take a little break and have a little think, a little thonk, and we will see what happens, because I have thoughts of just since this entire project looks like puke. I've been thinking of just restarting and doing most of all this in FFmpeg instead of in Python, and only do the actual detection in Python and do everything else with a custom wrapper, because MoviePy just doesn't let me do what I want. It just doesn't properly concatenate short clips. It just doesn't do it, and it's really annoying. But yeah, so that might happen. Might turn the entire project, not turn, I mean restart the entire project. Merging. It knows because it put that there. I should probably do that. It deleted the original files. Now it's generating the timestamps. Oh wait, I did no conv. It's gonna be on the old file. So let's just do dev. And it will do that, yes. And if we want to, we can actually open Audacity or Audacity or whatever it's called, and you can actually import it, set it up, and it will be as you. We can like inspect it. There it is, conv.raw. Open, and it will think it's signed 8-bit, little endian, one channel, yes. But not that sample rate, we have 11 kilohertz. Exactly 11 kilohertz, not 11025. We're back. So that's the audio that, so that's the actual data that our processor is running the math on, like for each sample, checking how over a period getting the max.
This might be a solution to that. Good to know.
And hopefully it will see this as loudness and this as quietness.
They're only 6 volts. And I don't really know how many volts are going to be dropped on the human.
No.
They're only 6 volts. I don't really know. These is that these ships require.
So we're peaking at about negative 12 decibels. I set the limit at negative 26, about here. And quietness seems to be
And
around
I don't really know how
36.
many volts.
So I seem to have picked a good number. Keep in mind that the settings I set up for the conversion here actually has loudness normalization, so that means this will be true for most, if not all, files where it's just talking. However, when it comes to files where there's background stuff, I have no idea what will happen, but as part of the course. How are we doing? How long was that? Yeah, 2:32. Oh no. It's one of those kinda big insect things. No, 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 don't turn this way. Oh, you Okay, live there. Just don't scare me by going behind my desk. I don't like insects at all. And now we're doing some more waiting. I didn't really tell FFmpeg to do multi-threading on this, and I don't think it can even. Yet still, it's 24 times real time, so I will not complain. The very fact that we can process 3 hours of, well, 2.5 hours of video into audio at 25 times speed is, it might seem slow, but it's actually freaking fast. So we're at 2 hours now. Now we just need 30 more minutes, which should be acquired in about a minute. Ish. How's the stream doing? Is audio still working? Blah blah. How's the stream doing? It's fine. Bum ba bum ba bum bum ba bum ba bum bum ba bum ba bum 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 ba bum ba bum bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum bum. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. There we go. Let's see what it does. Okay, didn't delete it. VA free Y. Where was it? Rest done videos. Huh. I guess it's because it's in a loop. Yeah, it's in here while true. But FF is that. How did it get there? No sign is detected exiting, and then it went where? Return from due process. Ah. If we are dev, return. Anyway. So what do we have? What do we have? It's gonna generate the timestamps. So it, I assume it's gonna say 0 like it did last time. Yes, absolutely 0 timestamps, which means none of these are tall enough, which is like 0.85. None of that is tall enough, which means eh. Amplitude to decibel. So what's the actual formula? Why is it always 2 powers or 2 power values? It's something here I don't understand. Let's check that that utils file. Utils. Um, like I want to use decibels because that's what OBS use. That's what Audacity use. But I clearly am stupid and do not know how decibels work. Convert silence threshold to a float value, which is actually a ratio. You bastard. This is probably let's just check all these. It's all according to a reference. Question is, what is the reference? According to utils, it just divides by 20. Python, help me. For A in range 0 to 128, print the float of A and all that. Wait, that was decibel, right? Decibel 2 float. Okay, so we want negative 50 to 0 actually. Let's check Audacity and just plop something. Zero point zero 0.05, I guess. Which is there. That is 50, 49, 48. $40. $30-ish. $35-ish. So it's around 30 still. Huh. Maybe that's just the normalization being a bit woo woo. So yeah, let's set it in negative 40, I guess. And that should fix it. It might even be that it is correct, but I just had the value so high that it wouldn't do it at all in audio normalize mode. Let's see what it finds this time. Nothing. So here we have amplitude. Actually, audio segment, RMS, audio PRMS. Really? It's really literally in the name. RMS, root means squared. Squared. Root. Means. It's all in the name. So really it's... Oh wait, no, wait. This multiplying by itself is taken out in the square root. It's some kind of rotation in some kind of arithmetic space. That's all I can say. I just want to see what this is. 1.2. What? Hmm. It shouldn't be 1.28, it should be 12.8. Or something along there, because that 0. Actually, wait. Wait. That was 40. 0.01. This is wrong, but do not mind me. Actually, what would that be? Not much. 1.6. Yeah, that's not an improvement. Times 10? Sure. Let's see what it... Yeah, let's keep it at negative 40, please. Let's try that again. Mm-hmm. And we're now churning through 3 hours of audio in quite some remarkable time, I might add. Still 0. Frick it. Can't we just do this? Like, we have the decimal here, so why not just use that? What was it? 0.05 times 128. There you go. If timestamp is still empty by this point, I will be a little kerfuffled, if I say so. We shall see. Is this... Wait. Max was 0 for some reason. Python byte to board. I don't want to... Ah, I can set it up to be signed or not. Maybe I will do that then. So that will remove that with int dot from bytes, and we will just give it 1 byte, which is x, and we will set signed to true. Byte order doesn't matter because we only have 1 byte. And signed is always most significant bit. Now, bastard work. Byte order is required. I think it's big we want. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. Object is not iterable. What does the map object do with the buffer? The buffer is an array. It's a string. It's literally a byte string. Okay, let's do some testing here. Pi3. We have a map object lambda x, print x. And we're gonna give it first a string. Okay, it did nothing because it didn't evaluate. So we'll make a list out of it instantly. There you go. As. But now when we run with byte string, is this documented behavior? Should this be happening? The conv file is correct, right? Yes. What the fuck? There was a bunch of zeros here, right? Well, 128. Wait, what? Why is there a bunch of 128? What? What? Could you make sense? What? Is it already signed? Is that what you're saying? Come on. Fuck. Hum. Yeah, that won't work. God damn it. It might be that it's already signed. Why? 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 Hey map object, could you not be an ass? I don't get this. Why was it... Why is it... No value in the file reaches 255. Yeah, there's no clipping. Why does this say that data exists that is clipping? It's wrong. That's wrong. What's this 0 here? What the f... So it obviously needs... that road. Come on. Yeah, this is not working. What the hell? Why is... Why? Seriously? Stop lying. No data in the buffer is 255. You idiot. Don't force me to prove it. No, 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 no. God. What the f... This isn't the same data. What the fuck? This is the entirety 2.5 hours. Do you see anything reaching the clipping point? No, you don't. So why does this tell me that it's at clipping point and then somehow jumps to center? Fuck off and die. What the hell is wrong here? I swear, signing in. No. Nah. 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 What the hell? Does it just sign it randomly? Python byte int while bytes literals and representations are based on ASCII text, bytes objects actually behave like immutable sequences of integers with each value in the sequence restricted such that 0 so that it's less than equal to 0 or less than 256. Attempts to violate this restriction will trigger value error. What? It is 0 to 256. Is it because it's a byte value, it can't be negative? Is that the bullshit? Actually, oh my god. What? Is it that I need to remove 128? No. Why? What the fuck? It is just negative 128. What's the problem? Fucking stop. No! Stop! My fucking god! This does not happen! You fool! Also not... My god. Seriously. What is wrong? Seriously, what is wrong? Is it the buffer? Is its length intact? The length is intact. And it's correct as well. Yes, 8-bit byte to signed int. Exactly what I want. And of course it's a if. Yeah, how would struct handle? Struct pack Python, yes. Let's just use struct and see if it can unpack a a byte. Max of a map of a lambda x with the buffer as argument, and the lambda will be struct unpack so we format and then x there, and we want to unpack a single signed char. Signed char. Yeah, signed char, which is a little b. Let's hope that works. A bytes-like object is required, not int. Why does this do this? Why does this do this to me? Fuck your performance, we're gonna pack and then unpack. We want to pack a big B, unsigned, because we get it as unsigned, and then we're gonna unpack it as signed. Maybe that does something. Let's print mx and see where it lands. Oh, maybe do the absolute of that. Tuple? What? What? Unsupported operand type for unary absolute. Tuple. It's what? You get the 0th element. That's much better. it's not jumping between negative 100, or well, in this case it would be 0 and 255. Let's see what we have. It's choosing the peak all right, because it's the same for a bunch of them, because the peak doesn't change for a bunch of checks. But that's what I want to happen, so I do not care. Question is, maybe it's easier to have that inline if. Mm. Either way, I will let it run, and it will currently use 0.05 ratio, whatever that is in dB, I don't know, but if this generates timestamps, I will stop the stream and we will come back when it has generated the video. Yeah. So, please generate faster. As you see, it's shuffling in memory, but it's nowhere, yeah, 100 megabytes, but it's no way near what it was before when it was using the audio segments. It's slow now, so those pack things are definitely slow, and I may in fact do that. And plop that in here. Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's abort that and do this instead. That should be maybe faster. That was a lot faster. And we have timestamps. Let's see if they make sense. 0 to 12 seconds, and then from 14 seconds to 24 seconds, and then from 26 seconds to 28 seconds. Let's just like pick one, like 581.25 to 570. Yeah. Cuts, they are longer than a second generally, so yeah, I will let this process and render, and I will be back. Goodbye.